Ollie here on the Latino slant. Let's get right to this breaking, seemingly exclusive news that comic book, I believe, .com or comicbook.com has gotten Gal Gadot developing Wonder Woman 3 with James Gunn and Peter Safran. Now, we're going to go into that little article, little news there, and then we're going to jump to what Xolo Maridueña recently said in regards to James Gunn and the Blue Beetle. A lot of rumors, lots going on, but let's get right to it. My name is Paulie. This is Latino Slant. Make sure you are subscribed. Okay, here's this exclusive, and it is released August 2nd, 7 a.m., seemingly about an hour and a half ago. Here we go. Sounds like Gal Gadot is going to be involved in Wonder Woman's future. Gadot debuted in 2016's Batman vs. Superman. She then, headlined her own couple of films. Patty Jenkins came and went. Here is what we got. Speaking of comicbooks.com's Chris Killian on her new movie on Netflix, before the SAG strike, all this is before the SAG strike, right? They got to say that. Gadot said that as she understands it, she will be developing Wonder Woman 3 together with James Gunn and Peter Safran. I love portraying Wonder Woman. Gadot says it's so close and dear to my heart, and from what I heard from James and from Peter is that we are going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together. So this should really kind of take the mind, the collective DC Snyderverse fans, their minds, and put it in a blender and hit that blend, maybe with some ice cubes, and get your minds going again. I can't imagine what this is like for you guys, but the only person that really knows what's going on at the end of the day is gonna be Gunn and Safran. But for her to say this on paper in an interview, which was I would say dated at least a month ago, in regards to before the strike, they're back on with Gal. Was there ever any official notice that she was done? She was in the Flash. She made a great cameo in the Flash. So you guys are on top of it more than I am in regards to DC films. Let me know in the comments. What have you heard? What do you think? I listen. I'm a fan of Gal, so I would watch a Wonder Woman 3. I'd be really interested to see who they get as a writer director, and that we take it from there. No one knows this big new DC plan other than those two gentlemen. So everyone is talking about this latest news here. Gal does not seem like a person that would just speak out of the side of her mouth. You heard it from her, and that is interesting news as far as the developments of all the DC films moving forward. Everyone thought it was going to be a pure, clean slate, new actors, new stories, new directors. But then Gunn said, well, Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, is still our first DC character in this new iteration, this new phase. But Superman Legacy will be the first film. So then we got the recast of Superman. Then, the confusion starts. And now you got Peacemaker coming up. Who's going to be in Peacemaker? Who's going to make a cameo? But now, with this news, the clean slate gets a little muddier, a little more interesting. What we do know is Gal Gadot is very popular, not just with the DC fans, Wonder Woman fans, but she's got her own following now globally with the performances. So she's tapped into that mainstream audience. They do need big names. They do need big names. I mean, they've literally casted an unknown as the new Superman. And I'm excited to see what he can bring. But I find it very interesting. Now, I want to know your thoughts, and I want to jump to Blue Beetle. Because Xolo Maridueña said something in regards to James Gunn. So is James jumping the gun? You like that? Put that in the title there. In a recent long form video that Fandango did, again before the strike. So this is before the strike. The host asked Xolo in regards to, do you think we're going to see Blue Beetle in other films, in other TV shows? And this is kind of interesting. Let's check this out.
Not just in this movie, but like in future films too. And Xolo, I hope we get to see more of the bug ship, not just in this movie, but like in future films too. And Xolo, I wanted to ask you, have you had any conversations with James Gunn about the future of Blue Beetle? Because he has a connection to Peacemaker in the comics. I wanted to know, would you want to appear in Peacemaker season 2?
Okay, all right. I just want to say something really quickly before we get to this answer. Why would she ask this? Right? It's not that it's out of nowhere, but this is a big promo for the film Blue Beetle that's coming out. I find it interesting that just Xolo, have you talked to James Gunn? Here's probably how or why she even asked that question. She heard about it, or Xolo or her people or his people, somebody told her that, hey, this conversation happened. Okay, but let's get to this answer, because this is a little interesting, guys.
Mr. Gold series.
Yeah,
we all want to know about the future of Blue Beetle. So Xolo,
I have had the pleasure of getting to speak with Mr. James Gunn and the whole DC fans. And at the end of the day, I think first we have to cross this first hill, right, and introduce Jaime to the world. But I think it's up to the audience to watch the movie. It's up to everyone to show up for the movie, and it's so wonderful that we get to make movies like this. And if it does well, we'll get to open more doors for more Blue Beetles, and not even just for the people up here, but we got a whole thing set up. So many Beetles to choose from, so many comics to choose from, and really just a whole world where we're super appreciative that DC's took the first swing at the live action Latino superhero movie. So we're ready to do it again if the crowd wants it.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, well there's a couple things that I'm taking away from. First of all, this is not a new interview, right? This is at least 60 days old, probably a little longer in regards to their production schedule, shooting this long form, because this whole setup, they did a lot of commercials and promos, and you're starting to see them come out now. Just because it came out now, and this was released August 1st, don't be fooled, guys. This is at least 60 to 90 days old. All right, and then Hollywood, that is a long time. Second thing, what he's saying about James Gunn and what James Gunn has said about we'll see on the success of Blue Beetle, that is not new news. Again, that has been stated by Xolo, by the director, and by James months ago. That listen, Xolo and Angel, the director is very excited for future plans and the possibilities. They want to do a trilogy, I don't know what, but none of that matters without you guys, without the audience. And Xolo reiterates that. It's like, listen, we got all kinds of iterations of Blue Beetle waiting to be sprung in different films, but none of that matters unless you guys don't like Jaime Reyes. Absolutely on point, very classy, very, very measured answer. But, you know, again, I think in their conversations, which I would assume have happened over the last few years, not just, hey, I just spoke to him yesterday. Ever since James Gunn took over, which now has been over a year, I bet there's been plenty of conversations with him, with Sholo, and people running the Blue Beetle. Warner Brothers has enough faith in this film to where they put it up in theaters. We know the story, we know the trajectory. So that was interesting. Now, Gunn, Safran, and Warner Brothers want to see how this movie performs with the U.S. Latino community that is the biggest movie-going audience in the States. We talk about it all the time. That is going to determine a lot of stuff for them because they are literally, trying to read the tea leaves and move forward. So this would be very interesting for them and what they're doing. And as we documented on the show, I find it very interesting the markets, Spanish and some in English, that Warner Brothers and Blue Beetle is hitting aggressively right now. Final thing, guys, before we wrap it up, I want to get your comments. Sholo said something about other iterations of Blue Beetle, and before in this interview, which is we're gonna put this link in the chat for you guys in the video box description. It's 20 minutes long. It's a lot of good fun stuff. It's actually really good. They say earlier that the Bruna's character is Ted Kord's daughter, and that Ted Kord has disappeared. There's been rumors since last year that Jason Sudeikis is going to be playing Ted Kord in the film, probably a flashback or something. I don't know what. So the Kord connection is going to be huge in this film. Just a little nugget there, and it goes along with what Jaime's saying, is that if all goes well, we're going to see Ted Kord in a Blue Beetle movie. That would be great, and that would be great to have that some sort of superhero mentor relationship. All right, I want to know your thoughts. That's it, James Gunn. A lot of people love a lot of his movies, from Guardians of the Galaxy to Peacemaker. How do you feel about his movies? How do you feel about what he's trying to get done here with Gal Gadot to Solo Maridueña? Wherever you're at, keep your slant. Fuerte.